Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today is going to be historic best of one day, and do I have a spicy brew for you? It's actually a list taken from the previous major tournament. I can't remember what it's actually called, like the Mythic Championship or something weird like that. Not the Arena Open that's just been, but the one before it that Wizards was hosting on their channel. And it was a list submitted by Kai Buddha. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but this is a sweet little list. I don't believe he did particularly well in the tournament. I also didn't actually watch him play it. So, you know, today's gameplay is me basically playing this blind, and I'd like to think that I did a pretty good job, actually, all things considered. So don't just automatically assume I'm completely unaware of what I'm doing, because I do understand how the basic core concept of this deck works. So essentially, it is a Paradox Engine combo list. So this is a 5-mana legendary artifact that says whenever you cast a spell, you untap all non-land permanents you control. So our non-land permanents in this case are going to be Mox Amber, they're going to be Mind Stone, and Llanowar Elves, to name the main ones. Mox Amber being a 0-mana legendary artifact that adds 1 mana of any colour among legendary creatures or planeswalkers you control. In this deck, it's going to produce green or blue. Llanowar Elves is also just a 1-mana mana dork, and Mind Stone is a 2-mana artifact that produces colourless mana. So, if we have things like Kinnan in play, which is nice little bit of a substitute card as well, all of our mana dorks are going to suddenly start producing extra mana. So, Mox Amber taps for double of 1 colour, Llanowar Elves taps for double green, and Mind Stone taps for double colourless. You also end up having Prophetic Prism and Chromatic Sphere, Chromatic Sphere being a major part of this combo, actually. Both of these tap for 1 to add 1 mana, but Kinnan will make them tap for 2. Same for Chromatic Sphere as well, but this one, when it sacks itself, it will also draw a card and add that mana, which is really nice. So, as I said, this is part of the main combo of the list. Chromatic Sphere is our way of drawing our entire deck to essentially self-mill for the victory, and the way we're going to be doing that is by using Emry, Lurker of the Lock-in combination. So it's a 3-mana 1/2 that gets cost reduction for each artifact you control, so most of the time we're going to be playing this for 2 or 1 mana. Very rarely will we see it going for 3. And when it enters, it mills 4 cards, and as soon as it loses Summoning Sickness, you can use it by tapping to choose an artifact in your graveyard and cast that card this turn. So what we're going to want to do, if we're going for the combo at least, we could be trying to build the combo, so we can pull back Paradox Engines, we can pull back Mana Rocks, things like that. Primarily what we want, though, is the Chromatic Sphere. So we're going to tap Emry, and we're going to grab the Chromatic Sphere. And when we do that, if we have a Paradox Engine in play, we're going to untap all of our mana dorks. So hopefully for 1 mana, we're going to be untapping 2 dorks maybe, or 1 dork with a Kinnan out producing 2 mana. And then from there, we can sack the Chromatic Sphere to put it into our graveyard and draw a card. From there, it is now officially back in our graveyard. Emry is untapped because the Paradox Engine triggered, so we can tap Emry to target the sphere again. And this is an infinite loop of drawing a card and generating 1 mana. So the mana is essentially pricing itself out just on its own. So you pay 1 to generate 1, pay 1 to generate 1. So you're not actually going to generate anything on its own. You do need something like a Mox Amber or a Mind Stone. But if you are comboing off with pay 1, generate 1, eventually you are going to find Mox Amber on its own, and that will be enough to turn the tides into a mana generating situation where this is tapping for mana, this is producing mana. So you're producing 1 mana every time you do this little combo. Again, if you have Kinnan out, it'll be producing 2. It's really not hard actually to combo this all together, as I've found during today's gameplay, but it can be a little bit hard through a little bit of interaction from your opponent. It's probably why it might be a good idea to play it in best of 3, but I'm not too much of a fan of best of 3 these days, so I'm pretty much going to be playing it as it is from the main list. So the ways we're going to win is literally Jace, Wielder of Mysteries in this case. We only need 2 copies because, you know, we technically only need 1 copy, but if it was to get Thought Seized out of our hand or anything like that, then the spare copy is kind of nice to have. Otherwise, we're kind of stranded and not doing anything with no real alternative win con. We can technically go for the Uro beats. We do mill quite a lot of our deck with Emry and things like that, and Tamiyo. So escaping Uro is not difficult, but Uro on his own is not going to win you the game most of the time unless your opponent is seriously durdling or just kind of filling your graveyard up for you. You can actually realistically get Uro out very, very quickly. So it's something to keep in mind. I think you can get him out as early as, I want to say early as turn 3, but I might be thinking more turn 4 is more realistic. Those are probably very unrealistic things to expect anyway, but having him escaped as early as possible is one of the weird upsides of this deck as well. I did see a list recently in Pioneer that I wanted to try to bring over into Historic. I think it's got like Springleaf Drums to kind of do the same thing that Kinnan does and escaping out Uros and whatnot. So, or maybe I'm thinking Modern. I can't remember if Springleaf Drums in Pioneer. Probably not, actually. But yeah, must be Modern. But yeah, it's a really sweet deck. Hopefully you guys enjoy. As I said, this is going to be me blind playing this one, so I do actually do pretty reasonably, so don't expect any kind of scrub massive punts. They might still exist here and there, but, you know, there's nothing like I don't know what I'm doing kind of levels of play, I would say, for the most part, I guess. Your mileage may vary. It's up to you whether or not you think I do or not. I guess finally, Balaged Recovery gets back any part that we need, like our Jace, our Tamiyo's, if we really need that for some reason. And then our mana base is mostly like the pathways and the fast lands, a couple of shock lands in here, and a basic, I guess, just in case you get Assassin's Trophied or Ghost Quartered or something like that. You don't want to be completely left stranded and showing your opponent that you can be strip mined. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the content. If you do, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. And without further ado, let's continue. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Okay then, we're on the play. We've got Botanical Sanctum Llanowar Elves, I think? I'm pretty sure this is a keepable hand anyway. Since we have the Emry and we can loop Chromatic Spheres, maybe. Maybe that's what we want to go with on turn 1 though. It's honestly quite hard to say when you've never actually seen this deck do a thing. So if I went Llanowar Elves, next turn I would have 3 mana. I could play Sphere and Emry in the same turn, technically. Would that just be better? Yeah, I guess so. You'd want more mana early, right? We might end up wanting to go Prism, Sphere, or something like that, maybe. Well, we're against the clock, so we're going to need something good pretty soon. But the good thing is that our opponent is not really going to be killing Emry. At least not anytime soon. So why on earth, right, Magic? Let's talk about this. Why on earth would you do that? Okay, no good response. That's what I thought. Okay, so we'll go Chromatic Sphere. We will go Chromatic Sphere. And then we'll go Emry. It's 2 extra spells that the game wouldn't have let us play. Had it just gone ahead and decided that, you know, the auto tap was correct. Alright, so Conspicuous Snoop. They've got a Goblin Matron on top, which is not too bad. We're essentially looking for, I guess, either like Kinnan or Paradox Engine at the moment, which we don't have either of as it currently stands. What we can do though is we can, let's just mute our opponent, they don't seem interesting. We can actually produce some mana here, and then we can also pay for that with Emry as well, so we can get that back for the same mana it took to sack it essentially. And then, do we want to go Emry again? Or do we... We probably want to get, like, Mind Stone out there. I don't really care about shocking myself, necessarily. There's 4 cards in the yard as well, so we could actually, like, get Uro out next turn as well. I guess that's maybe what we want to think about doing. Let's produce some mana. Let's see what Chromatic Sphere can get us. Let's play Emry. Let's keep the untapped one, I guess, because we can block Prospector with it. It's a Kinnan, but nothing actually useful. Alright. Well, we've not really hit the things we wanted to hit, but we can at least get an Uro out next turn, I think. Yeah, blue, green's there available to us. It's not the end of the world, and we don't really have to get rid of anything that we could actually get back with Emry necessarily. Okay, there's a War Chief, which probably means Muxus next turn. I will take your 4. So we need something real good. Otherwise we're dead. Hello. This really works, doesn't it? I think this is exactly what we needed to win. So we go Paradox Engine. We can basically draw our entire deck. I don't know how we generate mana. Oh no, we get Mox Ambers, don't we? So we generate blue. Using Emry, we Chromatic Sphere, the mana that we just paid for. Which untaps the Mind Stone and the Llanowar Elves, generating us mana every single time. Eventually we get Kinnan out, which generates extra mana from the Chromatic Sphere as well as the Mind Stone and the Llanowar Elves. Eventually we get Mox Ambers, so we can animate the Uro. And also eventually we deck ourselves and use Jace on a tick up because we produce so much blue that our opponent can't win. Wow, okay. Well, it didn't take much to get used to this deck, I guess. Just turn forward goblins. I'm hoping that they emoted me at least 17 times so they didn't feel like they wasted their time here, because, I don't know, I was hoping they did. Anyway, let's go to the next game. Okay, then we're in, and if we had a Botanical Sanctum in here, I think this would probably be like a Snapkeep, right? It does technically need something like Emry and Paradox Engine along the way, but I don't know. I feel like the mana is established if you had a Botanical Sanctum, and the rest should take care of it itself. I guess we don't really have good card advantage. We'd have to crack our Mind Stones or something like that, but easy mull. And this one's a bit weird, but we're gonna keep it. What do you get rid of? I guess maybe the Tameo. It seems a little bit far off at the moment. We'll just like Uro, hopefully for lands and whatnot. Yeah, let's give it a shot. No point playing the Mox Amber. You probably want to save it for when you have maybe Paradox Engine in play. So Prism's gonna need to find me a mana source that I can use to cast Uro. Technically the deck is listening. More goblins, by the way. Gotta love non-stop goblins. That's a bad draw. Okay, so we're gonna go Llanowar Elves. This is probably where you play a Mox Amber, and the reason being is that next turn... Well, actually, I need blue mana still. I guess I've got the Prophetic Prism for that. Next turn, when I play Uro, in response to it being on the battlefield before it sacrifices, I can actually float mana with the Mox Amber. If it's relevant, that's great. Otherwise, we're probably just dead anyway. But I could potentially get something like... well, we drew a land anyway. I can potentially get something like an Emry out. So we are going to Uro. Going to let it enter the field. And then I'm going to produce some blue mana off my Mox Amber and then hope that it's relevant. Could get a Kinnan out potentially here. More Mox Ambers. Alright, well, I don't really know what to say about this other than I guess the top of our deck is not our friend. So I'm just going to get in for one because, you know, if we're dead to combat damage, we're probably well and truly dead to combat damage. This is like when you Muxus just off a Wily Goblin and the Trojan token, so Yeah, this should just be the easiest win of all time for our opponent. Lots of back and forth where it all mattered. Ooh, Mind Stones. And a Herald's Horn. Opponent's playing the long game. Interesting. I was never going to block anyway, so... I just kind of need to win here, and I don't know if I can. Not with draws like that, I can't. Alright, same again. We're gonna Uro. Pretty sure we're just paying off the mana base here. We're gonna float some blue. Got an Emry, okay. Potentially hope for us yet. We can take full control off now. And then we can go Emry. We need Chromatic Sphere and Paradox Engine, I think, together. I mean, we got the Chromatic Sphere. Yeah, it's just a case of playing Llanowar Elves here, I think, to survive. I guess we could have used one of our Mox Ambers, so we had 2 blockers. Yeah, well, let's see what happens. Again, as I said, we need probably quite literally Paradox Engine right now. I think that's the only thing that can save us. Kinnan only gets creatures, right? Yeah. So they don't get, like, creatures or artifacts. Yeah, I think if they kill Emry, we're dead. So if they got a Gem Palm, or a Shatterskull Smashing, that's the first. Okay, that's it's a pretty big indicator that we're going to lose. Yeah, then Goblin Matron grabs Muxus, because why wouldn't it? And then, yeah, that's game. Okay. Like, they even have the mana without Skirt Prospector now, so... Oh, that is such a tilt. So, had they not killed Emry, we win here. Because we produce 1 blue mana here, we play another Mox Amber, and we produce enough mana off these Moxes until we can afford Paradox Engine. From there, we tap Emry to play the Chromatic Sphere, and then we've got Infinite Draw. We already have our win con in hand. We actually just straight up win the game. As it stands, without a hasty Emry, I don't think it's possible to win. Like, at all. I mean, I guess I can go with the Euro and see what happens. So, that, and other Euro. And I guess Kinnan as well. You don't technically need Kinnan in order to combo off. I don't see how we win, though. But we'll see what we draw, I guess. Like, Llanowar Elves is a blocker if they really horrifically whiff on Muxus, which is statistically probably highly unlikely, but here we go. That is... Ooh. That's like being stabbed in the back. That right there. Okay, well, next game. Alright. Turn 1 Llanowar Elves. Turn 2 Kinnan with some mana rocks. So it needs a little bit of help along the way, but it's a pretty reasonable hand anyway. Opponent's on a Lurrus list, and it looks like it's going to be Auras. So it needs a lot of help along the way, and it needs to do it exceptionally quick. Good news is, next turn we can shock for Kinnan, produce 2 mana off the Llanowar Elves. It's an interesting attack. One that I'm not interested in taking. Mostly because their life total doesn't matter, and I'm not going to be interacting with their creatures. Outside of maybe a random Fatal Push right now, which obviously we didn't draw. So yeah, I'm going to go with Breeding Pool, Kinnan, Mind Stone, and then we're going to go with a Prism, I think. Although I could do... Actually, no, I could do it all, couldn't I? I could do Sphere. Crack Sphere, produce 2 mana. Oh! Oh, I should have produced black mana. That would have been the Spirit Dancer down. I didn't think about that. I was basically aiming for Emry. Emry would have been the ideal scenario there. Looks like they had a backup anyway, so... Doesn't make too much of a difference. Yep, take some damage. And somewhat whiff again. We can actually activate Kinnan. That's very interesting to know. I definitely want to kill Core Spirit Dancer because I want to throw our opponent off a little bit. 2 or fewer lands. I don't really need to produce black off the Watery Grave because I can do it off the Prism. So produce... Actually, I might need the draw here. Let's go blue, produce black. Fatal Push, Core Spirit Dancer. Let's tap the Mind Stone now, I guess. Play the Mind Stone. And you know what? Let's activate Kinnan. See if we can hit that Emry. We got an Uro. There's a Mox Amber. It's not the worst. But we really needed Uro there. We needed Emry there, I think. So this doesn't benefit me at all to put it into play right now, I don't think. Nor does playing Mox Amber necessarily. I might use it next turn. But if I find Paradox Engine, it's a great way to produce extra mana and untap. For free. One has a 3rd Spirit Dancer effect, so... My Fatal Push is a little bit of a slow down effect, but... not nearly enough. This means I've got Karamitra's Blessing, I'm pretty sure. Do I want them to use it? If I draw a Fatal Push, I can take care of another Saram then. And I've got spare Kinnan anyway. Trying to figure out how much the mana matters here. I think I can afford to let them do it. Yeah, no surprise there. Okay, so now we're gonna go with blue, green, Kinnan. Produce blue. I'm a little short actually on the mana I thought I had. Let's crack this Mind Stone. Chromatic Sphere. Produce... I guess we want to produce black here, actually. Blooming Marsh. I don't really want to have to Uro, is the thing. Let's Kinnan. Still whiff again, wow. Well, we'll take Uro, because we might hit Emry. Another Kinnan, another disappointing draw. Play a tap land and pass. I mean, we've got so much mana, but we just don't have anything to do with it. We can't draw the right cards. All the glitters on Spirit Dancer. Again, I'm probably trading the Kinnan off here. Looking like I'm trading it off on a Spirit Dancer to stay alive. Hopefully they don't have flying here. That would kind of suck and put us straight on a clock. This might be staggering insight. Or perhaps another 1-drop with... yeah, another 1-drop with Alseed backup. This is 17. If they crack their Alseed for protection from green on Core Spirit Dancer, then I'm close to dead. This is Xaxes, so I could block here to keep my Kinnan around. And go to 1. I don't need my life total necessarily, except for shock lands, and I'm pretty sure I've got my life total, my mana costs covered here. So let's go to 1. I think they did their math based off of having Alseid in play, which gave them the extra +1 on the Alder Glitters. So green, green, blue, blue. Let's Uro. You, and you. Bad draw once again. Let's activate Kinnan. Bad draw once again. Apparently all the Emrys are at the bottom of my deck. Let's produce some black mana, just in case we find a fatal push. Keep producing black mana. Ooh. Okay. Play the Llanowar Elves. And pass the turn. Our opponent can't give SRAM flying and enough enchantments, otherwise we lose. Well, there's an Alder Glitters. The odds are very much not in our favour for this working out for us, to be fair, but we got to give ourselves every chance, I think. Staggering Insight gives them lifelink. Irrelevant. I will deck myself. I won't actually care about that life total. That's the one we care about, and they had it. As I said, they've drawn so many cards at this point, it didn't really matter, and I don't even know how far we'd got down our deck without seeing a single Emry. I think we had the best possible odds there of finding our cards. 36 cards in. And all 4 of our Emrys and Paradox Engines were in here. That is absurd, to say the least, so yeah. This was a shuffle win, unfortunately. Okay, let's have a look. Another Lurrus list. We got the Fatal Push in case it's Auras. Llanowar Elves for turn 1 potentially here. I think that's where we want to go. We got a Paradox Engine. And the Chromatic Sphere in case we see Emry. I like this hand. It's got all colours of mana as well. I actually kind of think we lead off with Breeding Pool. Yeah, Breeding Pool for the Llanowar Elves here. We could obviously go with Chromatic Sphere and put this on black for the Fatal Push. Selfless Savior, that is unfortunate. Alright, well, we are putting this on black. We are, I think, going for the Llanowar Elves here. I could hold open Fatal Push for Selfless Savior in case it's their only creature. It's quite unlikely, but I could at the very least make them sack the Savior nice and early. Or go for just Sphere Push. 2, 3... I mean, next turn, if I played the Mind Stone, we'd have Paradox Engine down. That's my main thought at the moment. I guess we'll go with the Mind Stone. And then it's like land, untap Chromatic Sphere. We can do whatever we want there. Don't know if we want to necessarily do whatever we want at that point. I don't know if you play Sphere here. I guess you do. It's a redraw. Basically for free. Alright, so SRAM or Spirit Dancer is most likely coming down here. If this was an All-Seed, it would be so much better for us, because then we could push whatever there. Hushbringer is not too bad. Except the Hushbringer. And we don't want to trade with their 1-1. We could use it to clear their board, to be fair, but I don't think we need to. So let's go Paradox Engine. Shock in the breeding pool. Crack this for black. Balaged Recovery is quite nice. We'll go after the Hushbringer. They'll sack the Selfless Savior. We'll untap all of our mana docks. I could just free Balaged Recovery to get the Fatal Push back, but considering they didn't really care about their Hushbringer all that much, makes me not necessarily want to do that. I could actually crack the Mind Stone, maybe. But I can't really play anything off of it that matters necessarily. So I kind of think I'll leave it around as a mana rock at the moment. It's also cost reduction for Emry if we find that, which is the important part here. Another Hushbringer, okay. Truly doesn't matter the creatures they're playing, but if we do have the Fatal Push, we want to get rid of the one that's, you know, hard to block and things like that. Well, there's a Mox Amber, so we can use that to generate mana. So I could do this Mox Amber, untap. This is a free Balaged Recovery. Could then crack the Mind Stone. Get an Emry. Very nice. So we will go Emry. Actually, I should have floated some mana here, but I don't know if it matters because Emry kind of needs to not have Summoning Sickness. It doesn't matter about the Emry not getting any mills because we already have what we need in the yard to win. In fact, we already have what we need in hand to win, I guess, to a certain extent, because we can go Chromatic Sphere and get a redraw. We can untap our stuff. Again, I should probably go for the Llanowar Elves. A couple of probably not necessarily bad or impactful sequencing errors here, but we'll try and go for something like a Kinnan, maybe. Or I guess even a Fatal Push. Let's go for a Fatal Push. Some Mind Stone. Play Mind Stone. Untap our stuff. Float our mana, draw a card, use the green. It's a Watery Grave. Alright, well, we end with a land drop. And our opponent needs to kill Emry, otherwise they're dead. And Auras doesn't really do that. They need like a Faith's Fetters kind of effect on Emry. One that says that activated abilities can't be activated, otherwise we literally have a way to produce infinite mana and draw our entire deck. Hopefully our opponent lets us do it, because that would be interesting, but it is, from what I can at least see from a glance, a quite painful way and slow way to lose, but some people, you know, they just like to watch you play out a combo because they think you hate doing it. No combo player ever has hated producing their combo. I guarantee you that. So now we're going to produce infinite mana and infinite card draw. QQing as we go. Apparently we're going to have to do it this way. Chromatic Sphere out of the graveyard, please. We'll play Uro. Untap all our docks. Thanks for the free Uro, I guess. Doesn't really matter. It's all about... Oh, hang on. It's all about the Chromatic Sphere, really. We'll just grab a Mind Stone as well. I don't think there's a creature we even care about anymore. So, like, activations on Kinnan don't matter. If I've probably produced enough mana now that we don't have to keep tapping and untapping. I'll probably still QQ to do Mind Stones and whatnot. That'll be the mana I need, really. Because I only need blue at this point to play Jace. So we're just going to keep digging until we find that Jace. Tamio, I guess, also works. We can tick up and try and find Jace. It's a little bit faster. Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. No, we got a little bit further through our deck there. We're going to QQ. Grab Chromatic Sphere. Play the Sphere. Look at how much mana we've got. Isn't it wonderful? Sphere. We could actually activate Kinnan just to get, like, Llanowar Elves out of our deck. It's not a terrible idea. It's technically deck thinning, and it goes a lot further than one card at a time, I suppose. Yeah, well, none of those. As long as we got one mana, it doesn't matter. Probably shouldn't have done that, actually, with the Emry. I guess it doesn't have an ETB, so never mind. Let's just crack some of that. Another Chromatic Sphere. QQ. Blue, blue. Sphere. Rushspring is annoying. I wonder if it would actually have impacted us in any way. Had we not had everything we needed for our combo. Like, Emry not being able to mill is definitely something impactful. If you consider the fact that we might not have had Chromatic Sphere already in our graveyard. Slash in our hand. Well, there's another Tamio. New Tamio, please. Doesn't matter about milling off this Tamio, because we're going to be looking for exactly the card that we risk milling over. So, Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. There it is. 28 cards left to go. Opponent wants to do this. We can do this. You can see why it's quite a painful and slow way to go. We don't need the draw off of Jace's plus there, because, you know, we kind of already have it. This is a waste of time. Don't know why I'm doing that. Let's go with... Let's get Prophetic Prism out there. That's a redraw. We literally just have to do this 25 more times. Ooh, another Jace. Yeah, might as well play the other Jace. Keep this Jace. Mill with this Jace. Sweet. Chromatic Sphere. Keep it going. I might fast forward this a little bit for you guys, just in case you guys don't run and see any more of this. I can fully understand why. Oh, 3 cards remaining. We're almost there. 2 cards. Balaged Recovery. Alright. This will be 1 card remaining. Almost there. I won't lie, it's quite the slog. You don't want to do this combo if you expect people to make you play it out and you've got places to be. We'll say that much. Alright, and then the final one, we go for... What? No. No. Oh, be careful, chat. End of combat. To the main. I don't know why it's doing what it's just done. Magic Arena! Magic Arena, what is wrong with you? What? So yeah, that's a thing. We did win. Hopefully our opponents kind of left, but if they haven't, they technically win. Because essentially what's happened here is I don't have a spare Jace, and even if I did, I don't have any cards left in my deck. Apparently the game chose for me to have 0 cards before it left it up to the timer, I guess. I was going about as fast as I could as well, and I did hit apparently X0. They are here. Oh no. Oh no. I've got no way of drawing a card. Arcane Flight. Yeah, I mean, they win because they were patient, I guess, and the game's an absolute mess. That is ridiculous. Huh. Yeah, that's 5 points on Jace. Even if I kept the other Jace in my hand, I wouldn't have what I need here. That is bizarre. Beyond belief. I guess the one thing I could have done... They're going to take their free win. They're not stupid. You might as well. I mean, I'll be playing plenty out, so have your free win, I don't care. It's dishonorable, but, you know, do what you want. Yeah, thanks, game. Thanks for that. Okay, let's have a look. We have the tools we need to win the game, apart from Paradox Engine, which is... It's diggable too. We can dig to it. One's got a Llanowar Elves to lead, and we're going to lead with... I kind of think that we don't play Chromatic Sphere, but part of me thinks I probably should for the cost reduction on Emry, so... I'm actually going to put this on black so we have all the Soul Tie mana. I think that's correct. Then again, I can get it off of Chromatic Sphere anyway, but I don't know. By that same token, I can get any color off of the Chromatic Sphere, so I should probably put it on the fixable color here. Steel Leaf Champion. Alright, so our opponent's playing some aggro elves list. So I'm going to go with the Botanical Sanctum. And we're just going to play Emry here. Mox Amber and Paradox Engine, 2 very important cards here. They're going to set up a potential win for us if we're not dead. Good lord. It's actually Stompy, it's not aggro elves or anything like that then. Okay. So I don't have much time, as it turns out. So we're going to have to go, I think, Mox Amber, Mindstone, Mindstone. Hope we're not dead. Mindstone. Mindstone. And then Breeding Pool tapped. And we're set up to win. So if Emry lives and we live, we win. 6 mana Ronus with 3 more mana. Ah, Magic the Gathering. How about Exaxes? How's that sound? Oh, well, we got close. At least we didn't have to worry about our timer. Yippee. Okay. 2 mana Mind Stone. An Uro. We're on the play. We have no green mana. Other than Bala Ged Recovery, which I guess we could play on turn 1. Yeah, okay. For that reason, I think we're going to keep this one. I didn't really want to have to use this as a green source, but I guess there are situations where you probably should. Hallowed Fountain for our opponent. This might be blue-white control then. It's going to be a pretty problematic matchup for us, all in all. So we can get some blue mana there. We're going to go Mind Stone. And try and slam an Uro next turn, I guess. And then play Watergrave and Pathway out. Oh, it's Flyers. Might still be a problematic matchup, though. So we could play Tamiyo. Tamiyo could tick up to find Emry. Anything else at this point would be fine in the graveyard. Because Emry could get it. Or should I just go Uro, though? I kind of feel like we should start ticking up with Tamiyo, because the more we do that, the quicker we get to our combo pieces. So let's put this on blue. Let's play Tamiyo. Let's dig for Emry. Emry, Lurker of the Lock, please. There's a Paradox Engine. We needed that. Yeah, we literally just need Emry now. And I think Tamiyo constantly ticking up for it should... I mean, fuel an Uro to permanently be out for a start, which could probably keep our life total in check if our opponent is like the Rally of Wings style of deck, where we just kind of lose out of nowhere. Supreme Phantom. Oh, they're playing Spirits. Okay. So the issue here is they're holding up counter magic. That's the main issue. So I'm going to go Emry again. We got 2 Emrys. Honestly, that's about as good as it can get because our opponent is holding a counter unless you pay 4 right now. So if I go with Mox Amber, that gives me Emry. Our opponent might have Skyclave Apparition in their deck. It would be a shame if they did. Let's just go with Uro here. They could also have Brazen Borrower, I suppose. That would slow us down quite substantially, but I don't think it'd be enough to really turn the tables in their favor to the point where we can't just win. Let's get the Uro out. Play the land. Play the Chromatic Sphere. And yeah, it's just going to be a case now of getting that Paradox Engine out of our graveyard and into play. And also keeping an Emry around outside of Skyclave Apparitions, which they might run. They probably have like 2 or 3. Because it is a spirit, so it gets pumped by the Supreme Phantom. Their Empyrean Eagle, though, only boosts flyers. So that doesn't give it the buff that it needs. There's a Skyclave Apparition going after Emry. As we expected. And then a cheaper Supreme Phantom. This is where it gets a little bit scary because I do think that our opponent probably has another Apparition. And, well, we don't have much hope if they do at this point. Short of, I guess, digging for the last Paradox Engine, which we just milled over. I guess we could. Let's give it a shot, I suppose. Nope. And can still do it off of Mind Stone here. Nope. Alright, well, in that case, let's go Uro. Blooming Marsh. Mind Stone. Let's get rid of Kinnan. Llanowar Elves. Botanical Sanctum. Get Uro into play. Watery Grave. Say tapped. Tapped. I guess I want to get mine Llanowar Elves into play as well. It's another mana dock that doesn't have Summoning Sickness next turn. We don't have much time is the thing, so if our opponent knows what we're doing, they want to get rid of Emry again. So if they've got another Apparition, that's what it'd be used for. It's just an Empyrean Eagle. Well, I don't think they've got 26 points of damage here, and judging by that being their first play, I think all they'll really have is the counter unless you pay 4 counter magic in hand. Hello, Kinnan. Do you change my math at all? I think the answer is yes, you kind of do, don't you? Because I pay green and blue here, and if it resolves, then this just produces the green and blue, and it's essentially free. Would I want to do that later, though? Or now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can pay the full 4, but I don't have the Mox Amber mana after that. So then I'm dead to a Rally of Wings. I guess an Uro attack could potentially help out. So let's attack first. It's a tap land, unfortunately. It's worth a shot, right? Well, let's go. Kinnan. Green, green. Paradox Engine. Play Paradox Engine. Our opponent, if they do have the counter unless they pay 4, wants to do it here so that I can't untap and just win on the spot. Giving them a turn to potentially win. Yep, there's the Lofty Denial. We're going to pay for it. Last card for them had to be Spell Pierce, I guess, at that point. So, can they 19 me here with a Rally of Wings? I can't remember if it's a +2/+2 or a +3/3. I think it's 2. Either way, I'm sure it's enough. If they had it. We're gonna block here because we don't care. We're at 5. Okay. And yeah, that's the win. So tap, tap. Emry, Chromatic Sphere. Now we've got to kind of work against the clock, I guess. Chromatic Sphere untaps it all. We'll make sure that we can pay for Lofty Denial before we play our Jace out. Chromatic Sphere. Like, well and truly pay for it by a country mile. Guess we might as well do it now. And our opponent scoops it up. Thank you, opponent, because apparently Magic Arena won't let me. Little do they know, I don't have the clock, really, to win this one, apparently. But we only had 25 cards to go. This is worth 3. And then we can probably get there in time, I'm not sure. Eventually draw like Bala Ged Recovery, get some Tamios going for a little bit of extra ramp. We've got the Uro for an extra attack as well. We've even got some Uros in the yard for a quick draw. So, pretty good, pretty good. Alright guys, well that is gonna do it for today's video. Hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe as well for more content like this in the future. And without further ado, gonna end it off here. Have a good night, guys. Hope you've enjoyed.